before a £1 million deal is signed, before a launch that could define the future of a company, there is a silent question that separates prepared leaders from those who break under pressure. What could go wrong? The Stoics had an answer. A practice known as Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils, not as pessimism, but as strategy, as control, as survival in high-stakes environments. While most people avoid worst-case scenarios, the Stoic leader does the opposite. He faces them in advance. He imagines the failure. He anticipates the loss. He walks through the worst possible outcome, because when the unexpected arrives, he is already ready. In business, this becomes a powerful mental model. Before launching a product, before signing a contract, before scaling an operation, the Stoic leader pauses and asks, where could this break? What risk am I not seeing? And if everything collapses, what is my next move? This is not fear. This is power. And today you'll learn how to use this ancient Stoic method to protect your decisions, reduce risk, and win negotiations without losing your mind. Why use Premeditatio Malorum in business? Because successful companies are not the ones that never face crises. They are the ones that are prepared when the crisis arrives. And Premeditatio Malorum, the Stoic practice of mentally anticipating adversity, turns uncertainty into strategy. It gives you 3 decisive advantages. First, it corrects dangerous optimism. Most entrepreneurs assume things will work. They expect the deal to close, the product to succeed, the market to respond. But Premeditatio Malorum forces a different question. What could go wrong? And in that moment, illusion is replaced by clarity. Risk becomes visible. Weaknesses reveal themselves before they become real problems. Second, it creates stronger, more resilient decisions. When you build a plan after confronting the worst-case scenario in your mind, you naturally design something harder to break. Your strategy becomes flexible, adaptable, prepared for impact, because you didn't plan only for success. You prepared for failure and built safeguards against it. Third, it creates calm under pressure. When something unexpected happens, and it always does, most leaders panic because they are seeing the problem for the first time. But the Stoic leader has already been there. Through Premeditatio Malorum, he has already imagined the crisis, already faced the loss, already rehearsed the response. So when reality delivers the challenge, he doesn't freeze. He acts with clarity, with speed, with control. This is the essence of Stoic risk management. It's not about expecting the worst. It's about being ready for it. And when you are ready for the worst, you become far more capable of achieving the best. The 5-step process. Understanding the concept is only the beginning. The real power of Premeditatio Malorum appears when you turn philosophy into a clear process. A method you can apply every time a high-stakes decision stands in front of you. 5 steps. Simple, direct, powerful. Step 1. Define the objective or decision. Everything begins with clarity. What exactly is at stake? Launching a product? Hiring an executive? Entering a new market? Signing a deal that could change the direction of your company? Be precise, because the clearer the objective, the sharper your thinking becomes. Without clarity, there is no strategy. Step 2. List everything that could go wrong. Now, you do what most people avoid. You face risk directly. Set aside a moment, remove distractions, and begin listing everything that could fail. No filtering, no softening reality. Include operational failures, judgment mistakes, market shifts, competitor actions, regulatory changes, and most importantly, human risk. Your team, your partners, your clients. This is not negativity. This is preparation. Step 3. Evaluate probability and impact. Now you bring structure to uncertainty. For each risk, ask 2 questions. What is the probability this will happen? And if it does, what is the impact? Some risks are unlikely, but devastating. Others are common, but manageable. This step shows you what truly matters. It reveals where your attention must go. Step 4. Create response plans. Now you turn awareness into action. For every high-impact risk, define in advance. If this happens, what will I do? If a supplier fails, what is the backup? If a client pulls out, what is the alternative? If the market reacts badly, how do you pivot? These answers become protocols, and protocols create speed. When the problem appears, you don't start from zero. You execute. Step 5. Review regularly. Because the world changes. Markets shift. People change. Your business evolves. And as it evolves, new risks emerge. So revisit your risk map regularly, every quarter, or before any major strategic decision. What was safe yesterday may be vulnerable tomorrow. Constant awareness is part of the strategy. This is the method. 5 steps that turn uncertainty into clarity, risk into preparation, pressure into competitive advantage. This is Premeditatio Malorum applied to modern business. And when you master this process, you don't eliminate problems. You gain something far more powerful. You are never caught off guard. But there's a critical detail most people miss. Premeditatio Malorum is powerful only when it's applied correctly. Used the wrong way, it can create hesitation instead of clarity. So before you apply it, you need to avoid the most common mistakes. Mistake 1, confusing it with pessimism. This is the most dangerous misunderstanding. Premeditatio Malorum is not negative rumination. You are not training your mind to expect failure. You are training your mind to be ready for it. The purpose is not anxiety. The purpose is preparation. And when the exercise is done correctly, you don't leave with fear. You leave with confidence. Because you already know what to do, no matter what happens. Mistake 2, doing it alone. Your biggest risks often live in your blind spots. The things you don't see are the things that can hurt you the most. That's why Premeditatio Malorum should not exist in isolation. Bring in different perspectives. Your team, your partners, people who think differently than you. Because every new perspective reveals a risk you might have missed. And every risk discovered early is a crisis avoided later. Mistake 3, listing risks without defining responses. Many people stop too early. They list everything that could go wrong, and then they stop. But a list of risks without a response plan is just documented worry. The real power of Premeditatio Malorum comes from actionable preparation. For every critical risk, there must be a clear response. This happens, I will do this. That is what transforms fear into control. Mistake 4, doing it only once. Business environments change. Markets move. Competitors adapt. New risks appear, old ones disappear. Premeditatio Malorum is not a one-time exercise. It's a discipline, a rhythm, a habit of strategic awareness. You revisit it, you update it, you refine it. Because preparation is not a moment, it's a mindset. Avoid these mistakes, and the technique becomes sharper, more precise, more powerful, more reliable under pressure. Used correctly, Premeditatio Malorum does not make you fearful. It makes you ready. And in high-stakes business, readiness is everything. Premeditatio Malorum is not a modern management trick wrapped in ancient philosophy. It is one of the most sophisticated frameworks for making decisions under uncertainty ever developed. Because it does not try to predict the future perfectly. It prepares you for any version of it. Organizations that apply this practice consistently don't just build stronger plans, they build stronger cultures. Cultures where leaders are not driven by excitement and not paralyzed by fear. Cultures where risk is faced with clarity, where decisions are made with responsibility, and where teams know that no matter what happens, there is a path forward. When you practice Premeditatio Malorum, you develop something rare in the modern world: strategic maturity. You learn to separate hope from reality. You learn to distinguish naive optimism from true preparation. And you begin to make decisions not based on what you wish will happen, but on what you are prepared to face. And that changes everything. Because in business and in life, the real danger is not failure itself. The real danger is being surprised by it. Stoicism never promised a world without loss. It never promised markets without crises. It never promised that everything would go right. It teaches something far more powerful: to be so prepared for the worst that nothing can shake you. When you train your mind to face the worst-case scenario with clarity, you remove the fear that paralyzes action. And when fear disappears, what remains is deliberate action, strategy, control. And that is the moment when ordinary leaders become extraordinary ones. Because while others react, you have already anticipated. While others panic, you execute. While others are carried by circumstances, you shape the outcome. That is the real advantage of Premeditatio Malorum. It is not about avoiding the storm. It is about learning how to navigate any sea. If this message resonated with you, if it gave you clarity, if it gave you a new way to think about risk, decisions, and leadership, then this channel is for you. Here, we turn philosophy into practical strategy. An ancient wisdom into modern advantage. Thank you for watching until the end. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. Because the more prepared you are, the more unshakable you become. Sustine and abstine.